Hi everybody, I'm Jowell. Nice to meet you guys. Today on the episode of, we have together with us Jack. He will be with us as a guest today. So everybody, round of applause for Jack.
All right, man.
Yeah, I can hear you guys in comments. Maybe Jack, you can start with an introduction.
Hi, my name is Jack, also known as EconomicRice on Twitch. So I'm a variety streamer on twitch.tv. Used to do a lot of music streams, but now I'm doing a bit more like variety nonsensical stuff like you.
Yeah. Okay, so I heard about your stream also. I also drop by your stream sometimes. And I understand that you also kind of started your stream to help out dog shelters there. So
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. It started like randomly, you see, when I started streaming, right, I didn't think of like I want to like help the animal shelters and stuff. It only started like after I adopted my dog, which Uncle Tag. So if you guys want to follow uncle.tag at Instagram, very inactive. Follow. Very inactive but follow cause cute, right? Yeah. So throughout the process of like adopting Uncle Tag, right, and then me and my wife, we went to the dog shelters, and then we like noticed that like, wow, these places really need a lot of help. I mean, obviously it's well maintained to a certain point, but it's not like thriving per se. So like they constantly need help. So I was thinking, how do I go about like spreading the word for like animals and dog shelters? So I was thinking, maybe I can be famous on Twitch. I'm not famous, by the way.
Hey, me famous.
Famous. It just so happens that like I already have a full-time job.
Yes.
So Twitch, in a sense, is more like a hobby, like a side bitch. Am I allowed to say that?
I guess you can say whatever. Editors can edit it.
Alright, okay.
I see. Okay. So we'll talk about. You're also saying that during your stream, you also started off as a music stream.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So
actually, no. When I went live, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Okay.
I was just playing games and then being like an awkward turtle on stream. It's like, what am I doing? What am I playing game? Like, who's raiding me? Like, what's raid? Like, what do I do? I was already a struggling musician.
Okay.
Of course, like, despite having a full-time job, I was struggling internally about some like vocal issues and stuff like that. So I didn't really start with music streams yet. It was only after like I realized that, got people stream music on Twitch, like got like people like Ukulelems, people like Jambret Music, people like Cheryl Pepero, and then I was just casually like exploring all these streamers lah. And then I said, wow, maybe I can try. maybe I can like use this platform to like practice and recover. Yeah.
Okay. When you say recover, you were talking about some vocal issues earlier.
Yeah.
So what was these issues about?
So I discovered singing back maybe early 2010s. I don't know what is it called, like 2010s?
2010s.
I know
2010s.
I know 2000s called naughties. Like, I very naughty one.
No.
So, but 2010s, I don't know what's it called. Okay, let's say early 2010s.
Okay.
So I started singing a little bit more, but when you are younger, right? So I'm 18 this year. So like when you're a bit younger and you don't really care for like proper technique and stuff, you just want to like whack. Like everything is like you just go 158 miles per hour.
Try.
Yeah, just try lah. That applies to like singing as well. So I just sang and sang, like not using the correct technique. So little did I know, right, I started to develop some issues vocally, and then it only truly like manifested, right, when I was offered like a big show, quite a big show lah. To me back then it was quite a big show. It was to play at a pub that's quite popular, and like leading up to the show, right, I started like having sore throat, like a sore throat that didn't go away. I was like, what the hell, yeah? Like I went to doctors and like they just give me like lozenges. Then I like kept like it didn't go away lah. Basically, it just kept going on and on for like 3 weeks. So I just decided like one day, screw it. let's just get a referral letter to see a specialist.
Yeah.
So that's when I found out after like scoping and stuff, right, that I did develop a vocal condition. Dramatic drum roll.
Pause.
Yeah, so I was told by the specialist that I have a deformed larynx. So the larynx is like a part of your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like a certain shape, but mine is not that shape.
So in other words, you push it until it change.
Yeah, so like years and years of abuse lah. Basically, like trying to sing loud, trying to sing high. Yeah, so it became deformed, and unfortunately, the doctor said that this was a permanent condition. So, but it's manageable. You just need to like find a way to do it, like be it with speech therapists or like one way that you can discover on your own.
I see. So like during this time, it sounds like you were really passionate about music, and then you were singing, and then you finally got that big break.
Yeah.
But you had that sore throat.
Yeah.
How did that feel like? Because okay, how long was that period of time? Like you got the show.
Yeah.
Then which one came first? Your sore throat or the show?
Like ironically, right, it came concurrently.
Concurrently.
Yeah, so like maybe like a couple of days after like I got the news, like, hey, do you want to play this show? I'm like, sure, of course. Then like
Of course.
2 days later, like, hey, why some more? Why my throat cannot? Yeah, then yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, it's like sort of concurrent.
Concurrently, Oh, so okay. So how did that feel like when you got that thing coming already? You were so excited for it, but there was a setback.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, like, to be very honest. I think it hurt me mentally more than it hurt physically. Like even to this date, right, I think it's more of a mental thing rather than a physical thing. I mean, of course, not trying to downplay the thing, but it's like when I received the diagnosis, I was like, oh man, like I need to text like the person who got in touch with me, and like I felt sorry that I couldn't do the show, but at the same time I also felt sorry for myself. I was like, wow, why this happened to me, and like time to give up, and like oh, this is not gonna happen. And at the point now I was like pretty
Doubts.
Yeah, like and plus I was a bit broke as well. So like I couldn't afford all this like speech therapy and stuff like that. So I just like went into a shell and just like, wow, negative, like the one, yeah. So it didn't feel great lah.
So how do you do the show in the end?
No, I didn't.
You didn't
Yeah,
do the show?
I couldn't because actually like just a week before the actual show, right, the pain got so bad. Like it really intensified like a few weeks later. So I was actually thankful I didn't end up taking the show, because I might have bombed and then they wouldn't call me back ever again. Definitely would have bombed. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, but like, okay, so in the end you still went back to music at the end of the day, right? So how do you break out of that? Because it can be a very bad cycle.
Yeah.
You can drop into a cycle where you just keep going down, spiral down. So how do you like break out?
It was actually a very, very long journey, and actually sitting here with you right now, right, like March 3rd, 2024. No, sorry. No, March something after music. Yeah, so sitting here with you, it is still a constant like uphill battle, like but it's better now. So after I received the diagnosis, right, it went down for me, really, really down. I didn't touch music for at least 1 or 2 years, just so that I could recover. But actually, it's more like it's more like a mental thing. I went into a shell and didn't want to come out, and then I started singing again, started discovering music again, and then it was very difficult. And then like I just didn't feel like I could do it anymore. So like I went down and I tried to come up again. Then I went back down again. And that's how I think that brings us back to the Twitch thing, where I realized, like, hey, there are music streamers on Twitch, like Nuclear Limbs, Cheryl, and jam, stuff like that. So I just try lah. Like, then I just switch from playing games badly to singing badly. Which,
No, I think you sound great on stream, man. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's like, so currently you're still on the journey of this recovery.
Yeah, it is. I am. Yeah.
Okay. So I think your singing is okay. I mean, you're on the right path, man.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I got a little question here. So, you know, it's very hard to break out, like the part where you say, I want to try again. That one step forward to say, like, you know what, I'm gonna try again. What made you like really want to do that? Like before the stream, that like after that 1-2 years and you were still in the shell.
I think, right, age plays a very big part. Like, I think back then I was already in my 30s. Yeah, so obviously I'm not 18 now. So I was already in my 30s, and then I was like, I mean, if I don't do now, when? I mean, of course, there's people like Susan Boyle who who broke into the scene at 47 lah. But you know, like if I can do it a bit earlier, that would be very helpful. So I think like feeling old plays a lot. You also are.
I'm also in my 30s. Yeah, it does feel like you already live like a third of your life already, right?
Yeah.
Then you want to do something, right? Because life is so like short. You look back, it's like it's already a blink already.
Yeah, that's why so that pushed me a little bit more. Like, it's like, yeah, well, I was so old already. Don't do now, do when?
Yeah. True. So okay, so like was there anybody that helped you along the way? Because it sounds like you also draw inspiration from outside.
Yeah. The biggest person that really pushed me and supported me, right, is my then girlfriend, now wife, Linsa, who I'm sure some of you will know on stream lah. She's not the kind that will be like, no, you should do it, like you can do it. When it's not, she's more of the silent supporter. She understands what I'm going through, and she knows how to say the right thing at the right time. It's like, maybe why don't you try this instead of that? Then I'll be like, oh, cling, and then like then after that, right, after cling already, right, then she say, by the way, I told you that like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you're not listening.
Never listen to me. But I think like the biggest, like I would say like people like, of course, like Neo Williams, Cheryl, they did play a part in like making me want to try and do music on Twitch. But the person that actually pushed me to recover is actually my wife. And I mean, of course, at the side there are some really, really close friends and people I love that also help me lah.
So this is a nice story. Like, so how do you meet your wife? Will you meet your wife before your voice thing, or?
I met my wife before the voice thing. Just before. This one, I must be very careful. This one later.
Hey, let's say wrong date, right? When was it?
Who say it's 2000? I met my wife in 2017. My voice thing was 2018. So I met my wife before lah.
Okay.
So I met her while she was playing a show. So my wife plays a plethora of instruments, but most recently she's more a bassist. So she plays bass for a few bands, and then she sings as well. So I was like watching this rock band, like occasionally just go down, have a pint, and just like, wow. Then like I'm like, who's this girl? Like, so cool, play bass.
Yeah.
Like so chill also. Then like, okay, I must get to know her.
Okay. Yeah, bass is quite cool. Bass is
quite cool. So, but I didn't approach her directly lah. So I asked one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Her name is Rachel.
Okay.
So I asked her, hey, you know this girl or not? Like play the bass one. After that, she said, yeah. Why you want to like get to know her? And I said, if you don't mind, like maybe you can pass me her contacts and stuff. So that's how me and my wife met.
Okay. Hopefully that's the same story she tells. The wrong story.
She's like, huh? We met on Tinder, what? No,
Okay, that's a nice story. So, okay. So like, do you remember like during that moment when you asked for the contact number and everything? Did y'all like meet up straight after or?
No, so I did the very typical thing. I waited 3 days.
3 days,
Yeah, the
3-day rule.
The 3-day rule. And it works, guys. So if you don't get married, do the 3-day rule. So I did the 3-day rule. I think I got her Facebook instead. So
during those days it's very Facebook, right?
Back wow, makes us feel very old.
The most recently.
Yeah, so I contacted her. I said, hey, do you want to meet up for a drink and at the same pub that she was playing at.
Ooh, okay.
And she, so I'm gonna tell this story, right? That okay lah. I'm just gonna tell it, and then if her friend sees it, her friend sees it. I don't think her friend is gonna see that.
Okay.
So she told me, right, when I contacted her, right, she was next to her friend who is also a colleague at the time. So she was like saying, hey, this guy told me go out, asked me to go out. Should I or not? Then this friend took a look at my photo and said, not handsome one. Why? She told me this story. Wow, I was like, I'll never ever forget this. But then thankfully, right, she gave it a shot. She like, never mind, just see how it goes. So I'm very thankful that she didn't listen to that particular friend. I'm not trying to call her out, but
Yeah. I mean, it can be like that lah. Sometimes it's very normal when someone asks you, right, then ask you like maybe get close to you, then want to get things steady. Usually you will ask your friend for opinion. So it's normal. Yeah.
Sad,
yeah. But at that point of time, like when you were saying like they say you're not handsome, did you look different from now or?
Now that I think about it, no, but still, that means now if she see me, she'll say, he's still not handsome.
Hey, this guy handsome, right?
Wow, hey.
Guys, if you see it, you see this guy?
这样多昂公
Must comment below, no. If he handsome, must comment. No, he not. If you don't think handsome, also comment handsome, okay? I know, maybe the friend will watch and say not handsome.
Yeah. Hey, no, actually, I hope the friend will watch.
Okay. So earlier you were saying like you met your best friend, you met your wife through your best friend Rachel.
Yes, yeah. Correct.
So you can tell me more about this best friend you meet.
Sure. So Rachel is an odd one. I like to call her my childhood best friend, but actually we didn't meet until like our late teens lah. I met her when I was, I think, 17, 18. Not even late teens, like adulthood, almost adulthood.
17, 18, okay lah, late teens.
Yeah, I mean, I like to call her my childhood friend because thinking back now, we've known each other for like almost half our lives already. How I met her is interesting. Like it was just through mutual friends, and then we just hit it off because of our sense of humor, and like back then, I think like our vibe check. If that's a term back then, our vibe check was correct.
Yeah.
So we just started hanging out, and actually, right, I have her to thank for introducing me to the music scene. Because back then I was somebody who like knew nothing about like rock, pop, like all these bands and stuff, all these local artists, all these places where you can go to like watch bands, have a beer and stuff like that. So one day we were just hanging out at her, like at a condo at a poolside lah. We were just like, boring like, but I don't know what to do lah. Then she, I know this place, but I think we cannot go in because 18 and above.
Oh.
But we can try. So I said, screw it lah, I pay for cab . So back then you still have to like call cab .
Yeah. Oh my god.
call cab guys, no grab no grab . Age review is fine. You call cab or go outside hail one.
Yeah.
So I said, I pay for the cab then we just go and see how it goes . So that we did. So we went to a pub called Wala Wala. It's still there at Holland Village now, but unfortunately, like the second floor of Wala Wala is no longer fun. It's not there anymore. Like there used to be like a lot of like local bands and like all the performances that happened in that pub, second floor. So we just went down there, and then there was this band playing called like Sherlyn and Unexpected, and was like a crazy rock band, like really heavy stuff, and like
Screamer.
not really screamo, like they play a lot of like metal, a lot of rock and stuff like that. So like stuff that I was like, whoa, oh okay, like then I remember because they had this guitarist who's like a slightly older uncle with like mustache, and then you see like he's very unassuming, it's like a bit short,
Yes,
and then he's playing the electric guitar, right? And then he was playing Sweet Child of Mine, and then I was like, oh, good, see this uncle.
Was he singing also?
No. So he was the guitarist. He's one of the guitarists.
Still,
of the band. Yeah. So I think that was the point where I like, damn, I want to do this. Like maybe this is something that I want to do. So I actually do have like Rachel to thank for like discovering music and like where I'm at now. Yeah.
Sounds like Rachel helped you discover your music.
Oh yeah.
And helped you discover your wife.
Yes, yeah.
Then on top of that, also like, you know, I will show you like your wife is very supportive of you also. Yeah.
Rachel, if you watch this, cheap $50.
We are paid actors.
We are paid actors.
Paid actors. I think you. So, when did you meet Rachel? Did you meet Rachel like, because it sounds like you're quite young already. 17, 18 was when you met your wife, right?
No.
Rachel. Cut.
No, it's okay. 17 was when I met Rachel. 2017 was when I met my wife.
Okay, sorry, I mixed it up.
No.
Bad host.
Okay, good host.
So 17, 18, that was like after
half my life away.
Half my life away, like
ago, like
it was like when you were still studying or something?
It was just after secondary school for me, where I was a bum. I'm still a bum now.
So like, so that means after secondary school you didn't continue studying?
Yeah, no. So I guess this is like a stigma and like a sensitive topic for a lot of people. I personally did not pursue anything else after O levels. In fact, I did very poorly for my O levels. The only two subjects that I got was English and mother tongue. Although like mother tongue now has gone to shit.
That's important for music.
Technically, math also important for music, but let's not go into that.
That's not.
So I was fairly confident in language back then. So I didn't really score very well for O levels. So I didn't get a chance to like get selected into any polys or like qualify for any polys or like JCs lah. And back then, because family situation also not very well to do, in a sense, like also struggling financially, so I didn't want to like burden my mom to send me to like private diplomas, because those cost a lot more money than if you entered like like government polys and stuff like that. So I just bummed around and then just was quite a delinquent ish. I mean, yeah, for a few years lah. And then that's where NS started lah. Yeah.
NS started 16, 18.
It was
should be 16, right?
2020. I was actually quite old already, I think. Yeah.
Don't say that because we're going to grow older.
Hey, no, why? No, not 2020. What the hell? 2020 means it's 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's 4 years ago.
No, I meant NS started in 2010.
2010.
2010.
Okay.
So I was maybe about that age lah, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, slightly older lah. A few years after I met Rachel. Yeah, so I bummed around for a while, did some like part-time jobs before I went into NS, and then 2012 ORD, and then obviously didn't bother continue studying as well lah. Just found a full-time job that didn't really pay me very well, job that I didn't really particularly enjoy as well. But anyway, that's in the past.
Yeah.
So worked for like 5 years there, and then left, and then or rather I got headhunted and working to a place where I'm working at now.
Okay. I want to talk about where you work, but I also want to continue this conversation on like during the time where you, at 16 when you receive your O levels, the results,
Yeah.
right? So how did you feel at that point of time? Like when you're surrounded with friends, you know, I remember my time when I was sitting there in the hall, surrounded by friends, and then people were crying. Some people were saying, "Yes, you know, I got this," and to call it badly, like, you know, you feel at that point of time, like I feel at that point of time when I did badly for one of the subjects, was I feel like I was at the short end of the stick, and I felt very sad for myself. How did it feel for you? Like,
definitely quite sian lah. Like, if there's a word to describe it, it's quite sian lah. Cause like, I felt like I did my best already. Like, definitely, like I was hoping to at least have enough points to enter poly. Like maybe just scrape through. Like, you know, back then, no stigma, not saying whatever, but back then, right, RP was the easiest poly to get into.
Yeah.
They had
they
a
just
very,
started.
yeah, they sort of, I mean, maybe a few years already.
Yeah.
So their cutoff points were actually quite high. You could like get 24 or 20, I can't remember exactly what number it was, but I was hoping to like,
At least,
you know, like plus, like I had like very good CCA score, right? So like -1, maybe can scrape into RP, but alas it didn't happen. Like, I got my result. It's like, wow, I've never seen so many E's and F's in my life before. like D's, E's, F's. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't do very well. So, fortunately for me, right, the close friends that I had back in secondary school, right, Sec 5. They also didn't go well. So I guess birds of the same feather did flock together.
Okay.
So the people who did well, I wasn't really close friends with.
right.
So at least I had some companionship. Like, hey, you also didn't get enough points. How like that? Don't know. And then just went home. No? Yeah.
Okay, so then during that time when you were bumming around, I guess this, I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything, but I guess the feelings like, because kind of stick around, right?
Yeah. It. Sorry, what did you say?
So like after you collect your results,
Yeah.
right? You're laughing with your friends and everything,
Yeah.
like, your score value is fine. But when you reach home and you're alone,
Yeah, I think back then, like, cause young and like a lot of testosterone, right? Then like very egoistic, right? It's like, no problem lah, you know, all this. But then when you go home, then you sit down and you like reflect, and it's like, wow, like I felt like I failed my mom. Like I felt like I failed not only myself but my mom also. Like say like, wow, I'm actually not gonna be able to continue studying. Like, what am I gonna do with my future? Like, how am I gonna take care of my mom next time? So those thoughts did come eventually.
how did your mom take it?
She was surprisingly quite chill. So if there's one 贵人, I would say, in my life, right, like, it has to start with my mom.
Right.
Because growing up, of course, my parents didn't really have a good relationship. So I, in turn, like, also didn't really have a good relationship with my dad. So, but that's in the past lah. So I grew up only really like having a like really close relationship with my mom. So she's not somebody who pushes. Like, she's just like, you cannot. If cannot, then life will find a way. Because she grew up like that. She grew up struggling, and she grew up having that mentality that whatever happens for a reason, and I'm not gonna force you to like do something that you can't do or like you don't like doing. So she's never forced me to do to like study and take exams. Yeah, she recommends, of course, like all mothers do lah. It's like,
It's good.
yeah, I mean, why don't you try ITE? At least, you know, can progress.
Okay.
Which I did. I dropped out after like a month or two.
Oh, what?
Yeah, even once again, no offense to like any people going to ITE. Like, even going to ITE, right, was such a burden to me because it's still a form of studying, and I'm just not a very like book smart kind of guy. Yeah, like, not smart in any way lah, but you know, like, just book wise, right? I just have to read and stuff. I can't. Yeah.
Right. So I think like, if I recall correctly, like, because we kind of around the same era when we were studying, during those times, I think paper qualifications were really like the thing to go for.
Yeah.
And like nobody cared at that point of time about like how you feel about studying or like how you feel about things in general. That's how things were last time, right? So I guess you have to meet your relatives, and then you know the usual thing goes on, like, you know, my son now he's a doctor, a lawyer. How do you feel during that time? Like this, you're 16, 17, 18, you know, you're still quite young and you still feel like you're not sure. I'm not sure if you knew how to take it.
Yeah, back then definitely no. Actually, right, like, thanks for bringing that up, because even when I was in my late 20s or like even early 30s, right, I always tend to feel very small and like shy away when you know friends or like new friends get together and like, hey, last time where you study one? Then I went to this so and so JC, or then I went to like Kepler and I went to like this one, I went to that one.
Hwa Chong.
Yeah, Hwa Chong. I went overseas to get my degree and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I always la 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 la.
Don't ask me.
I try to look away like, today who playing what team playing football? So yeah, I tend to try and shy away, and then like when people do direct the question to me, I'm like, actually never really study lah. And then because of the way I present it, right, and then the energy also gets very weird.
I guess people don't know how to respond.
So it's not that they want to like look down on me, but because I gave them the energy, like, I never study, sorry.
I think at that point of time also people don't know how to respond, because we were like, everybody was like, yeah, study, yeah, I got it, you know.
Yeah.
They don't know how to respond to when people like, you know, I don't think I can do it, or like a lower confidence kind of mindset at that point of time. So it sounds kind of tough for you. How do you take it though? Like, how do you respond?
Wow. I think once again we're bringing back to the age thing, no? As I grew older and I progressed in life, I started understanding that, you know, all these things, it only really affects your state of mind. Like if you truly wanted something, if you truly want to chase for something, right? Even if you have a certain set of like paperwork and stuff like that, right? Doesn't mean you're gonna get it. Like, what's stopping you, someone with nothing, to go after something that, you know, you really, really want? So that was something that I learned maybe when I was pushing my mid-30s. I was like, yeah, I mean, they judge you, so what? Like, I'm living quite a nice, I mean, I wouldn't say a very comfortable life, but I have my wife, I have a roof, I have a loving mom, I have a fur pet, I have a stable full-time job. I get to stream on Twitch. I get to hang out with friends that I like. So I feel like at this point of time, life is good. So if I had a PhD, I had a diploma, I had a degree, right? Would that change how I feel now? Sometimes I do think about that. I don't think so. Like, I feel like you are where you're supposed to be in life at any stage of like being alive.
Where you are at.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting thing. Like, it took you some time to realize that you're growing up, then you start to realize like it didn't really matter too much.
Yeah, it did.
So do you have anything to say for those people who maybe at this point of their time in their life were like you during your 17, 18? Maybe some people are watching right now, they're in that state of mind.
If there's something I would like want to say, right, it's quite cliche, but life's a journey, not a destination. So wherever you are at life now, even if you are at the lowest point of your life, right, it is your journey. Just keep going on, because your journey is going to keep going, whether it's down, it's up, or it's stable. Because tomorrow I could strike lottery and then, my life suddenly goes up, and then the next day, right, something tragic might happen and then it's going to go down. But you know, it's your life, it's what's happening now. So don't let whatever happened in the past affect how you're gonna view the future. Just go. Go ni, go je. Yeah.
So like I'm going to go a little bit back further in time. So what was your secondary school like? Because it sounded like you didn't really like studying and stuff. How do you get to O levels in the first place?
Good question. Okay, so I started in the express stream in my lower secondary school days lah. So Sec 1, Sec 2 I was in express, and then Sec 2 I failed my exams, so I went into normal academic in Sec 3, and so I went Sec 3, Sec 4, Sec 5. But I think back in secondary school, Sec 1, right, I already knew studying normal. So I think I just scraped past the Sec 1 exam and got into Sec 2 lah. So, but I did pick up a sport, rugby. I used to play rugby, and my position, I know some of y'all are gonna like have a chuckle out of this, but my position used to be called the hooker, like literally HOOKER, like. No, yeah, like so a hooker is a position in rugby where you where you are the main person to do the throwing in. So when you know like soccer, football, right, when the ball gets out of bounds, you're supposed to throw in. So in rugby, a hooker is the guy who is the only person that is in charge of throwing the ball. So you have to be very straight. Sorry, no, you have to be very accurate in your throwing.
So, I think looking at you now, I probably think you will be a good hooker.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. You too.
So, you looking at, actually, honestly speaking, that was a joke. Honestly speaking, looking at you now, I wouldn't think that you played rugby, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this common misconception that rugby players need to be like, but okay lah. I mean, fair enough lah. Back in secondary school, I was definitely more fit than I was now lah. Than I am now lah. So, I was hitting the gym every day, like going like training almost 3 times a week. So I really went all in for rugby. Like I gave my everything. Like I broke my bones. I had scars, I have scars all over my legs. I have like ligament damage. All from rugby days. Like nothing happened, none of these injuries right, after rugby.
Okay. Except the throat injury.
Except that. Wow, I can't believe that. No, it's okay. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so okay. So I would think that your physique then will be much different, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I guess a bit more muscular back then, but now it's just go gym every day, man. Like,
Okay. I'm still trying to grasp like what secondary school life was like for you. Like, is there any other like memories you have of secondary school?
Yeah. So I was not a very nice person in secondary school.
Okay.
I think that stemmed from being bullied in primary school. Because I didn't really have a very good memory of my primary school days, because I wasn't I mean obviously I wasn't quite popular in primary school lah. So I think I was picked on a little in my like maybe P5 P6 days, and the bullying probably manifested something for me when I grew up. Like maybe when I started getting older in secondary school, and then I just wanted to be this like cool guy and like be the hunk and stuff like that. So I think I was pretty rude to some people, pretty rude to some teachers, and not very nice to some classmates lah. So maybe since like this is gonna go on the Daily Show, right? Like,
it's called the Daily Show?
It's not. No,
it's called the.
Oh, this is called the. So since our thing is gonna definitely be nominated for Netflix, I want to take this opportunity to like, but serious.
Okay.
Like if anybody is watching, if I've offended anybody in the past in my secondary school days or like whatever, like I'm sorry. Like, I think I was not a very good person in secondary school. So I hope I'm a better person now. Am I? Give me affirmation now.
Let's talk about it over dinner.
Okay.
Dinner.
Dinner. Your house got kopitiam?
Yeah, cai peng.
Yeah. So I think to summarize, that's like my main memory of secondary school.
I see.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, phase of your life also, like getting bullied, then becoming the
bully. Yeah. See.
Okay, I'm glad that whatever you said earlier to whoever you offended. So
Yeah.
It shows growth also lah. Yeah. So I also can't help but notice that you have a fresh tattoo on your arm.
Oh yeah. Not sure whether the camera can see it.
Yeah.
But it's a tattoo of Uncle Tag. So our Singapore special, our dog. Funny story. I discovered this artist by chance on Instagram. So I also have a kind of fresh tattoo here also lah.
Yeah.
So because of these searches, right, my algorithm on Instagram now is all about tattoo artists and tattoos lah. So I saw this lady.
Yes.
Her name is Charlotte. She goes by Big Ems on Instagram. So I saw her sponsored post. One of it said that if you're tattooing a Singapore special, 10% of what I charge, right, will go to a dog or animal shelter. So I was like, hey, crap, that's in line with what I want to support. So I just contacted her lah. I said like, hey, I saw your post, blah blah, and like, can we like do a session lah? And she said, yeah, sure. Then so the rest is history, and I think this is quite crazy lah. Like it's really really nice.
Yeah, it's very detailed.
Oneself say oneself. I think it's a pretty nice tattoo. Yeah. So if anybody wants to get your pet portrait done, can consider.
Yeah.
Just in case you're
We're getting paid by a lot of people.
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay. So you were saying earlier about this tattoo.
Yeah, this
cover.
feather tattoo. Yeah, this is also kind of fresh. It's a month old. It's actually a cover-up tattoo.
Okay.
It used to be just words. I used to say, "Family comes first." So that's a very old tattoo I did. I think when I was maybe I don't remember, like maybe late teens lah, around the same age, like maybe like early 20s. That age I don't even remember when really.
Okay.
Yeah, but back then, right, I tattooed it because not because like I have a very like close relationship with my parents or whatever. I tattooed it because to me, family does not necessarily mean blood. Relatives. It doesn't have to mean like your cousin, your wife, your brother, whatever. It can also mean your, what do they call it in English, like benefactors?
People who help you along the way.
Yeah, people who help you along the way, and people you really look up to as like close friends and peers. So I'm very thankful that I met a lot of people like that in my life. So Rachel being one of them. There are also 4 other people that I don't know whether they want to be named, so I'm just going to call them J, S, J again, and LJ.
The last one.
So these are some people that really mean a lot in my life. They are also musicians. There are some people who actually brought me in the right path, because at some point during my music journey, like I almost veered into a different path, which is not the nicest path. So, but with them, like I came back. Yeah. So along with Rachel, there's a few more like 贵人. I know. 贵人 is yeah.
Okay, but before we continue, maybe we can get you some water first.
Hey.
Hello.
来
Hello, ding ding ding.
小二
So earlier you were saying like you would veer onto the wrong path. Like, what do you mean by veer on the wrong path? Like, how did they come in at the right point of time?
Yeah, so there were some not very nice people I met. I mean, this happens everywhere, I guess. Like, no matter what job you do, there will be people who are not the nicest of people, and they are trying to like steer you into the dark side.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so all this people I mentioned earlier, they actually did really help in like making sure I did not go into that direction lah. So they just obviously, like, once again, they didn't like force me to like choose, as compared to those people I met that like forced me to choose certain options. They didn't. They just told me like how they felt and gave me some, like advice lah. Like you do realize that this is not right, and then so most of the things I kind of realized myself, but I feel like without them I would have just went into the
Follow whatever people say lah.
Yeah.
It's good that you met these people that came along the way, and you chose to listen to the good advice as well.
Yeah, I chose the right path.
Yeah. So that both your friends and yourself help each other.
It kind of worked.
It worked out lah. Right. So I guess like it's really important to appreciate the people who help you along the way, and to appreciate the advice you receive as well, and to discern either the good advice and the bad advice, which ones.
Agree. Yeah. But the reason why I covered it up is not because like I don't believe in that anymore. It's not that I don't believe in family comes first anymore, but I no longer need like reminders that family comes first. And the second most important part is the tattoo very ugly. So I tattooed it up. I covered it up with something nicer.
Right. So then did these people, then because earlier we were talking about your career, you were about to say something about your career earlier as well. So did these people help you along in your career as well, or how did it work out?
Yeah, they did. Actually, they are currently not just my close friends, they are also my colleagues. We work in the same place together, and actually I think one of them or two of them, three of them pushed really hard for me to join the company that I'm in now, like because they believe that I would actually help with the business side of things, and I think because they knew my character and how I like to do things, they really pushed. So that's how I'm at this job for 7 years already, and I absolutely love my job. So I guess it's the saying goes, like, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I hope most people out there get to experience that lah. Because I know some people work for the sake of working, but they don't love their jobs. But obviously, I understand that it's not possible all the time. So, but I do wish that more people can take that like literally. Yeah.
Okay, so what job do you actually do?
Okay, I am a hooker. No?
Respectable.
No, respectable. No, I'm actually a manager in a music school. So I don't really teach because first of all I'm not qualified to, and second of all I don't like teaching. So I do help with the business side of things, and I run some events, and basically just a very, very simple job which I'm very satisfied with. Like I don't really ask for much.
Okay.
Flexible hours.
Important.
2 hours a day. No.
I also.
I like one. Yeah. No, as in flexible hours and like very friends. Okay, a boss. One of like bosses that I consider like one of my closest friends now. Yeah. So I think. I think I scored like in that aspect in life.
Yeah. Actually, come to think of it, a lot of people avoid working with friends. Yeah. As colleagues, or like in the same department, or like were there any difficulties that you face?
There was because my job, part of my job was to restructure how things were going, like change some rules and stuff like that, so that the business side of things flowed a bit better. So that obviously that comes with like my colleagues, the teachers, needing to also change the way they work. And but thankfully, right, they all respected and understood that these changes that I suggest or like implement, like they understood that, yeah, I think these are good steps. Even if they're not, they're willing to give it a try. So I guess in some sense, like maybe for yourself, for Rain and for Zuni, like you guys started working together. Like you are friends first, right? Before you are colleagues. So I think like sometimes there will be differences in opinions, but you guys respect each other to like hear, okay, maybe we try this one day. If it doesn't work, then like next guest like maybe then after me, obviously to fit the same mold, it should be like people like Tom Cruise and stuff like that. So I guess it kind of works that way.
Right.
Yeah. They kind of have to respect and like understand where you're coming from. I guess that's number one most important thing about working together with friends. Yeah, the mutual respect has to be there. And Chinese say 公事公办, right? So if you do have to say something, you say something. If they get offended or they get pissed off, let it be. Because they might need some time to think about what you just said. And like, oh, actually, correct.
Yeah.
I do that all the time because my wife will tell me stuff. Then I'm like, no. Then like I go like sit down. Then I like, actually, yeah, she's right.
I think wife always right lah. Wife is always
happy wife, happy life. Okay? Okay. Happy wife, happy life.
Okay, so yeah, so it sounds like this is actually quite an interesting job that you have as well. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think it requires like two people to, like your friends and yourself, to be able to understand each other and to communicate well, to get past any trials lah. Right. So just now earlier you were mentioning that part of your job scope is that you have to plan events as well, right?
Yeah.
And I'm attending an event that's about to happen.
Oh.
Music 2024 that you have planned.
Yeah.
The tickets were really hard to get, and they were sold out so quickly.
Okay.
So how do you plan such an event, and maybe you want to share what the event is about first?
Okay. So music #music2024, right? Name came out by Kanchong 32, my co-organizer. Yeah. It's a music. It's an event that brings most of the music streamers and their community together in one venue. It's I wouldn't call it a festival. Actually, event also a bit like a bit here, not there, because in my head, right, it's just a hangout session, a lepak session, okay. like where some of the music streamers from the Twitch SG community will be performing. So just to drop some names, myself, Jay. No, just to drop some names, it'll be people like Jambrek Music, Cheryl Pepero, Don Yap, Wheeler KK, Little Forest, Big Daddy Rai. I literally just named all of them already. I said some names, but yeah. So they'll be going up to perform their songs, like original songs or some cover songs, and they get to perform it like to their respective communities. Like they're all gonna come together in a venue at the Blackbird, Singapore. It's somewhere in Gilman Barracks. Okay, I said that very weird, so I'm gonna say it again. Gilman Barracks, more Singaporean. Yeah, so it's more like a come down on a Sunday afternoon, like chat with people that you might have only had a chance to chat with online. See streamer that you might only have a chance to see online. Say hi to them, take photos, have a beer if you are of legal age, and just have a good time.
Yeah. Okay, so like, it's planning an event is not easy. The way you explain it, like it sounds like, hey, you already got it all down to the T. But as we all know, like events, you plan it, but there was something like, how do you plan the entire thing? Was there any challenges, any problems that you faced along the way? How do you to it?
I think, like what you say, with all events, with planning every event, right, there's definitely going to be challenges, but I'm quite thankful that I planned it together with Kanchong 22, who's a fellow Twitch streamer and somebody I met on Twitch and has now become one of my better friends in life.
Yeah.
And I also had help from people like Zuni, people like Adam, who's met me on Twitch, and of course Wheeler, and like whoever is around like the community to help out in a sense. So I think like plan event you do alone cannot, very difficult. So you need to have like-minded people, people who understand why you're doing this event and where you're doing it and how you're doing it. I think as long as you have these three like-minded like these three aspects locked in with like-minded people, right, I think things flow. Yeah. So because like one person can help with this, the other person can help with that, and then like someone else can do something else, and then like they all do different things better than each of us. So like for me and Kanchong would be like how to reach out to somebody. Then somebody like Zuni might I just reach out. I meet a person like every other day. So yeah, see like I think everything flows once you have like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Actually, looking forward to the event, man.
Yeah, me too.
It's very exciting.
Hold.
Yeah. So, well, it sounds like streaming has, brought you to another direction as well, like another interesting part of your life as well, like another chapter altogether. Like, did it feel like what did it feel like? Did it feel like, oh, hey, this is interesting? Because for me, I stream as well. Then I didn't have any expectation of streaming. I didn't think like, nobody will come and watch me at all, man. I'm just going to talk to myself for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it did happen. But eventually, I meet a lot of people. I meet like Rain and Zuni and yourself as well. I meet people overseas, US. And I felt like, it's really an interesting hobby to have as well. That was me. But how do you like?
Yeah, I think what you just said, obviously, like, but for me, maybe there was some form of expectation, be like, do I sound better than how I did 3 years ago, than how I'm sounding now? But I think the numbers game is always something that's in the back of my mind. It's been hard to like learn to like it's okay, 3 viewers, 4 viewers, it's fine. It's hard, but I think what made me be what made me confident enough to like, screw it, let's do an event. Like I think that brings back to like the part about education. So I guess how I link that is like having 3 viewers maybe equates to having not enough education. But if you are someone with like 50 viewers, maybe you are a diploma holder. So what's stopping me as a 3 viewer streamer, right, on organizing an event that can bring everybody together? So that's in line with just go out, just try out. Like if you don't try, how are you gonna know whether it's gonna be successful or not?
Right.
Yeah. So I think so I was taking a poop. Yeah, and then I was like, hey, there's no such like event in Singapore before where we just bring not all, obviously, like some of the Twitch musicians together to maybe hold a small little like concert. Like back then I was like a concert, but then I didn't feel like a concert very serious. Maybe not, maybe it's like a
scary,
concert. Wow,
need to book the
National Stadium. Yeah, so I was thinking like maybe a smaller scale, maybe at a friend's pub. So we're doing it at the Blackbird, and I think along the way, everybody who's attending, who's performing, and who's helping with the organization, I think they also kind of like understood the project a bit more. So when they were all on, let's do it, and then that's where we are at now. Hasn't happened yet, so we don't know. Maybe
it will turn out well, man.
we hope so, we hope so.
Yeah. So it looks like we came a full circle already. We started talking about your streaming.
Yeah.
Then it seemed like your life, there's a lot of ups and downs. And I believe you also gave a lot of good advice to people like who are also along the way of this journey. And right now you're still, in the midst of the journey as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting stories that you share with us. Is there any like advice or words that you like to give to people? I know you've given some already, but if there's anything else that you like to say to people who are watching right now.
What are the advice? Now you put me on the spot.
Oh, the hot seat, man.
Wow,
can pour some water.
Yeah, I can pour some water. Hot seat. Something very simple, I guess. Don't be afraid to try. Like if you really believe in something, right? Just do it. Like because what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to take like the start of my streaming career as an example. Like when people ask me, right, like what advice would you give to like people who want to start stream? It will be the same advice to like whatever you want to do in life. Like just try. What's the worst that can happen? Because streaming, right, is like go live. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is like your computer cannot take it, and then stream crash.
Yeah.
Then there you have it. You have a solution already.
Your answer is there.
Yeah, your answer is there. So whatever else you want to do in life, right? Like I see a bicycle over there, right? Like just buy a bike and go cycle lah. If you cycle halfway you fall, that means you're not great at cycling lah. So practice some more lah.
Yeah.
Like if you cycle halfway then your tire puncture, right? Then that means you need better quality tire. To me just do like whatever you want to do, want to try, just do, and then learn along the way. And then you will also discover whether is this something I want to do in the long run. Like our dear Rain behind the camera, like I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, crap, I need more memory cards. Like it's something that like I guess you learn. Yeah, that's my advice. Sorry, a bit long-winded, but
no, it's okay, man. So I think also you have like thanked a lot of people along the way, and we don't want to miss out anyone else. So if there's anybody else you want to thank before we.
Anybody else I want to thank? I want to thank myself.
Good job.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just play this very politically.
Let's go.
If I forget to thank anybody, right, I'll thank you off camera because
now
brain is not working anymore. But if you're somebody who's important in my life, be it from the past, present or future, right, I will thank you, regardless of whether your name is being mentioned on camera right now. So thank you.
So thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. If you find anything interesting, comment down in the section below. I'm sure people would love to hear your point of view as well, right? So thank you.
Thank you
for joining us today.
Thank you.
And that is all for. Bye-bye.
And thank you. And thank you for being such a great host. I feel like it's quite comfortable today. I mean, I know after this, once the cameras are off, I probably have to go naked and stuff, but it's fine. I'm prepared.
We're not supposed to talk about this on camera.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Sorry.